Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back to another YouTube video of We Go Podcast, aka What Else Is Going On. So there's a couple topics that I've been wanting to talk about for the last few days, but this week has been like so much has been going on. I'm so excited though, because it's getting ready to be Thanksgiving next week. All my kids will be home. So one of them arrived on Friday night around midnight, my youngest, and then my son will be flying out from California today, and he'll be arriving around midnight tomorrow morning at the airport. And then my oldest will be coming in probably with my mom on Wednesday. So I am really, really, really excited to have my family together for Thanksgiving. My dad has to work, so he won't be here. So I live not too far from my parents, which is nice. I'm in Maryland, they're in Jersey, born and raised Jersey girl, but it's nice when we can all get together, and my brothers will be here, maybe some cousins. So I'm looking forward to just all of us being together. My good girlfriend, and her daughter. So we'll really have a good time. So I'm just excited, more so for us all to get together, and the food, of course, but the food, the conversation, y'all know how it is. Some of y'all, maybe when family gets together, people be cutting up, acting up, but I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm excited. So anyway, let's get into these things we were talking about. So of course, you would have been living under a rock if you hadn't heard about the lawsuit that Cassie, it's a civil, I believe it was a civil suit that she brought against Sean Diddy Combs, right? Alleged abuse and some of the most horrific things that you could possibly read about, let alone experience. And a day after the news broke, well, I believe the news may have broke on the 15th, right? Or the 16th, but by that evening, it had been reported that it had been settled. It had been confirmed on both sides that Diddy settled the suit with Cassie. And when the suit came out, I started wondering if a lot of people that had worked with him, around him, felt a sense of relief. Sorry, y'all. Felt a sense of relief, like someone's finally speaking about it, and maybe I'll speak about it. And one of those people we know for sure that was thinking and doing that was Aubrey O'Day. Well, Aubrey's been speaking about it. She's been trying to tell us for years. She, I believe, had that on her Instagram story when the news first broke. Been trying to tell you all that for years. But then when it came out that it was settled, I happened to see what else she posted on her story, and my heart for her, for Cassie, for every victim of his, because I firmly believe that there's more. It was just like a feeling like, here you think this person may get what's coming to them, get what's due to them, right? Some sort of retribution would happen. And Aubrey posted a story, a picture of the story that had come out that they settled. And she said, money, and then the greater than sign, accountability, every time. Welcome to another chapter of The System is Well in Place with a Broken Heart. And Page Six reached out to Aubrey, but did not immediately hear back. And my heart was just like, wow. Because it's a hard thing. Nothing can replace the years that Cassie endured, allegedly, at the hands of this man, and the things she had to go through and the things she had to suffer. However, if this process is helping her, and she's getting not even compensated, if you will, but something, I'm glad for her. And for those people saying that she took the money and ran and she didn't even tell her story, she did. It's in a legal document. So she did expose him, and I'm glad that she did. So prayers up to Cassie, her family, her children, her husband, her parents, everyone around her, her friends, prayers up to all of them. And I do think that justice will still be served to Mr. Combs. I do think people will still come out and may be even more emboldened and empowered to tell their story and to feel that they're not alone. So just prayers out to all the victims involved. But I just really felt that when I read Aubrey's post. However, again, I'm firmly on the side of Cassie. She told her story. Glad she got it out there. And not that this money will bring some level of comfort, but she deserves that and more. if you will. Of course, we know that the amount was not disclosed. I do wonder what it was, because remember, initially, Diddy's lawyer said it was a shakedown, the 30 million that Cassie was asking for, then turned around and said they offered her money, which why are you offering if? So going forward, we'll see. I suspect we'll start to see a lot of people coming out, speaking about their experiences, not just with Diddy, but with other music artists and other in the entertainment genre. I think we're going to see a lot more people feeling emboldened and empowered to speak out. And I say good for them. Continue to speak out. These predators and abusers and all that, they need to be held accountable. They need some sort of retribution. Yo, I am so sorry. I thought I had put my phone on silent, but I did not. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk about Madison LaCroix from Southern Charm. Southern Charm is not a show I watch. I have said many, many, many times. I used to watch it, then I stopped. And I said many times that I had, that was Summer House. I said I give it back to Bravo and Jesus. But Summer House, Southern Charm too. Although I've been hearing conversation about Southern Charm this season, and I might have to dip my toe back in a little bit. But y'all, there's so much TV. I still feel like I'm behind trying to catch up on so many things since Vegas. And that was almost a month ago, or what, 2 weeks ago almost or so. So I'm still trying to catch up. But I thought something was interesting that Miss Madison LaCroix said. She said a whole lot. And then she accused Sutton from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for rude behavior at BravoCon. Madison, the article that I'm reading from Reality Blurb says, Madison then put a spotlight on Sutton's BravoCon antics. One thing I don't like is when people know you and you've met and they've even had you to lunch like Sutton and then pretends they don't even know who you are when you're in the room. That kind of stuff. I was like, oh, okay. If she's calling me for meetings, she can come up and say hello to me. So I thought that was interesting. First of all, I'm like, I wonder what kind of meetings Sutton was calling Madison for, allegedly, what they were talking about. And then I get that for her to act like, if that's the case, for her to act like Madison was not in the room. Child, let me tell you, because that BravoCon, I have seen some people who want to act like anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. But yes, so been there. I didn't really care. I thought it was funny, but I get Madison probably doesn't care. She may care, but not in a way that's like, oh, my feelings are hurt. In a way that's like, girl, don't be calling me, setting up meetings. We've had lunch, and then we get in a room full of other folks, and you act like you don't know me. That would be annoying. I brought up this article because I've seen it a couple of days ago, because I've seen all the conversation about Sutton online, like, oh, Sutton this season, what's going on with Sutton this season? Oh, she talked about on Watch What Happens Live how she was dealing with something and that caused her actions this season. I don't care what not near one person say. The Sutton we're seeing is who she is a part of her. We've seen it from season 1. And listen, I've said it and I'm going to keep saying it. Some of y'all don't like Crystal, and that's cool because, listen, we all see Housewives or Bravo Libs on these shows we watch, or even different reality shows that we watch, right? And for whatever reason, someone may trigger you or someone may give you a good, happy feeling and you just like that person. So you're going to go up for that person, right? Oh, I like them because they bring that to the show. I don't like them because they don't bring that to the show. So that's cool or whatever. For me, and I'm just an observant. I'm just observing. I'm a viewer. And I talk about these shows and these things. Back Crystal's first season, Kyle brought up a conversation and asked Crystal a question. And Crystal was going into the conversation. It was a race conversation. And Sutton, who had nothing to do with the conversation, stopped the conversation and centered herself and said, we're not going to talk about it. Nope. We're not going to talk about it. And I believe that's when Crystal asked her, are you one of those people who don't see color? she was so affronted by that question, and then proceeded for pretty much the entire trip to make it about her. And the next day when she went to Crystal tried to talk to her some more about it. Well, let me share my father's experience and me watching my father's experience in this white America, basically. And Sutton then tells a story of how she's the victim because somebody found out she was Southern and asked her, was she racist? And then we get the scene on the boat where Sutton is sitting in this woman's face, crying, rubbing her face with a tool. Don't put your feelings off on me. You came into a conversation about race that had nothing to do with you. I was asked, and you, as a white woman, shut it down and then made it about you. But see, the audience didn't like Crystal, so people gave it a pass, or people said Crystal was overreacting. And I'm going to tell you, I suspect that if it was Garcelle and Sutton, people would have taken the side of Garcelle, because I'm just going to be honest, it was the thing or popular to support or say Black Lives Matter amongst the viewing audience for a period of time. You know, people were very vocal, you know, during Bravo's movement, not a moment that seems more like a moment. But that's just my opinion. That's just from what I saw. But so I say all of that to say that we see who Sutton is. Sutton has been the same. Sutton has been centering herself this show. And when things don't go her way, she tears up. Just like, whose birthday was it? Was it Garcelle's birthday? And she got mad because they didn't include her or something. And she got up, made it about her, talked about Crystal's ugly leather pants, and was crying at the table, or went over to another table, started crying. They all went up to her and then wanted Crystal to apologize because the word she used did make sense and was correct when you look at the meaning of the word, because there's more than one way to use a word. So Sutton has been Sutton. Ain't nothing new to me, whether she's going through something or not. The Sutton we see, the woman who has always been privileged enough to be able to center herself in every conversation, even ones that don't pertain to her or have nothing to do with her, she's playing out on TV. And that's why I could never get with her. I try, you know, yes, she has funny moments and different sayings, of course. But the Sutton we see, to me, is the Sutton that she has always been. So let's move right on along. Speaking of Beverly Hills, when I saw this a couple of days ago, I was like, who are you talking about? So Garrett Morosky, I hope I'm saying his name right, alleges he had threesome with two Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars, as the F-Boy Island alum shares shocking details. Y'all. Garrett said on a podcast this week that he once had a threesome with a couple of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars. Speaking to host Marco Del Vecchio, the F-Boy Island alum, 29, looked back on the supposed rendezvous with the unnamed ladies, noting that he actually played with one of their kids and shook one of their husbands' hands before later being threatened by that very same man, who seemingly learned of the tumultuous affair. Did I ever tell you I smashed two of the Beverly Hills housewives? I shook their husband's hand after. I had a threesome with her and one of her friends, who was also on the show, midday in her husband's bed, Garrett alleged on the November 16th episode of Smoochie Town. And then after that, I went into the back and was jumping on a trampoline with her kid and stuff. That's nasty. Bro, it was the most ridiculous thing. Following the incident, as Garrett remained at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast member's home, he was shocked to see that her husband had arrived back at the residence. All of a sudden, her husband shows up, comes over, and I'm like, F, what do I do? And she's like, just say that you're like a real estate agent and you're like checking out the house. And at the time, I was doing some real estate. So I was like, okay, cool, he recalled. But the drama didn't end there. Later, Garrett received a message from the man requesting a meeting between the two of them, which he ultimately chose to take. I get a text message from him saying, I'd love to meet you. Come meet up with me in Beverly Hills. I want to chat some business and stuff like that. Like, I might have some stuff for you, Garrett shared, noting that this was the first time he was telling the story publicly. So I go to this dinner and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? And he's with this dude that looks like he's Secret Service. And he's like, listen, if you ever come around my family or my kids again, my buddy right here will take care of you. Okay. You know, process of elimination. I was like, okay, who got kids that would be jumping on the treadmill? I mean, on the treadmill, on the trampoline. When was this? Because I could think of one person that has children right now, Miss Kemsley. But I don't, then again, I don't know if I see Dorit doing that. I don't know, because we don't really know any of these people, right? I don't know. What I know for sure is, wow, that's a lot. What y'all think? Who do y'all think it is? This is the first time I've heard this, but again, this is the first, he said this is the first time that he's saying it in public, speaking about it. I was like, what is going on in the hills of Beverly Hills? Although, I mean, come on, we know things go on even in everyday life. You got a neighbor that may be having twosomes, threesomes. You don't know. So, well, I guess twosomes is, they could be having onesomes, twosomes, foursomes, child. I don't know. It gets to a point where it's too much to keep up. Like, okay, there's a little bit too much going on. Like, we need to cut back some people. But anyway, like I was saying, I thought that was interesting. And I'm wondering why he was coming out with it now as opposed to never. But hey, it happened to him. I guess he can tell his story too. I do wonder who it is. Let's get into some more housewives. I want to talk about Miss Shannon Beador. Shannon Beador, Real Housewife of OC star Shannon Beador, alleges DA targeted her because she's famous in DUI hit and run case that she pled guilty to, that we witnessed on somebody's outside cam. Okay. According to Reality Blurb, fans will recall the Real Housewives of Orange County star Shannon Beador was involved in a hit and run back in September that resulted in her getting a DUI. In the incident, she smashed her car into a concrete planter at someone's home and then fled the scene with her dog. Now it seems the RHOA star and her legal team feel she was treated unfairly because of her fame from the show. After the hit and run incident, Shannon broke her silence on her official Instagram by sharing a message via video. In the October video, she said that she would open up soon and be completely honest and transparent about what happened and what we saw on the video. Now, Radar Online has obtained a court brief where her attorney, Michael L. Fell claims the Orange County District Attorney treated Shannon unfairly because of her fame. Shannon and her defense team feel this way because there was a search and seizure clause added to her probation. This allows law enforcement to conduct inspections of her home and property without a warrant. Her attorney called the clause highly unusual. Fell had this to say about the matter in the brief. Shannon Beador is being treated differently from any other individual facing the same charges. He continued, the undersigned is aware that the court has been a judicial officer for over 35 years and feels confident that it has never rendered such a sentence down to any first-time DUI offender. It is further surprising that on a general misdemeanor case that did not involve drugs and or weapons, that the prosecutor would ask the court to offer informal probation with a term and condition of search and seizure. Additionally, regarding Shannon from RHOA fleeing the scene with her dog, she went to get her phone in order to call for help after the hit and run happened. It should also be noted that Shannon paid the homeowner for the damages to their property, and they decided not to pursue charges. This means there is no civil matter in her case. Only time will tell how Shannon's probation will play out in the coming months. Any lawyers or officers of the court or people that just know, is this unusual? And do y'all listening, watching, think that it's because of her fame that this is happening to her? I don't know. I've never had a DUI, so I don't know how that all works. If this is not normal or usual for them to put that clause in her probation, I don't know. What I do know is that a lot of people that don't look like her are targeted because they don't look like her. And they have to deal with much more than just because they're famous. Okay. Let's talk about 2 more housewives that I have, y'all, that I was like, what is going on? So the Bravo Shade Room posted, I saw this a couple of days ago, but again, I was like trying to run down here and talk, but I had so much going on. But Nene leaks post and delete. Sis, you can have him. Trust me, it's not what you think. The bedroom sex is horrible. He's dumb, broke, a loser, a cheater, a liar, and a narcissist. Run while you can. Now, the Bravo Shade Room posted it, but I believe it originally came from the Neighborhood Talk. Nene, if she's alluding to this gentleman that she's been, Yanni, I believe, back and forth with or on and off with, she's said things like this before. So what made you come out now and say something and then delete it? Now, this is the first time seeing the bedroom stuff, but she has posted plenty of times about somebody being a narcissist and a liar and not telling the truth. And now he's a cheater. I'm wondering who he cheated on. Is she talking about his wife that he was allegedly in the process of divorcing, or is she talking about her because she has said that they're not together? Didn't she say that when she sat down with Carlos King? So I'm wondering, like, who did he cheat on other than the wife? But again, allegedly, she said that they weren't, that he told her that they weren't together, they were getting a divorce, which could be the truth. Someone could be legally married, going through a divorce. So I'm not going to say it's not true. I'm not in the relationship. I don't know. But it's always wild to me when they post stuff like this. It's like, you've been knew this about this man. I don't believe you just found this out today. Again, you've been talking about him, if that's who she's talking about. And then in about a month or so, we'll probably see another picture of them out to drink with Peter and Portia and Simon, because seems like that's her cycle. Something else that I thought was interesting, the Bravo Shade Room posted that Drew and Sanya no longer have Real Housewife or RHOA in their bio, leading people to speculate that they have been fired / contract not renewed / they're not coming back. I will say this. I know that is a first thought when you see that a housewife who previously had things in her bio removes it. You're like, wait, what's going on? Are they no longer on the show? I do remember when Lisa Rinna did that before she ended up not being on the show. She did it. Then she ended up coming back, I think right before her last season. And then I remember Erica Jane did that as well. And that was a big thing. She removed it. I remember Ramona had did that as well before the last season of the old Roni. And she came back for a season. So I say all that to say that I don't necessarily believe that it means that they're gone. I do wonder sometimes if they do that as a ploy to get attention, to get the fans up going, the reaction, and maybe to show Bravo, look, people are wanting me to come back. People are wanting me to return. People are up in arms because they no longer see it in my bio. Because there's so many housewives that have done this. I just named some that have then come back to the show and said, oh, they removed it for whatever reason. So I don't know if this necessarily means they're gone, but I did say someone commented and said that Sanya got pregnant for nothing. So they were trying to intimate that Sanya got pregnant for a storyline. I don't know. I mean, we know that when she came on, that was Ross's thing. He wanted her to have a baby, and she was saying how he wasn't even there for the first child. He wasn't present. So it fell on her and her support staff around her, her family. So I don't know. Blessings that Sanya has a beautiful, healthy bundle of joy, the baby. But I don't know. I don't think that necessarily means that they won't be on the show. If anything, I would want Drew to come back because I want to see how things play out, like how she's handling going through the divorce. And a part of me wonders if they're even getting a divorce. As of the last we heard, they were still in the same home. So are they really getting a divorce? Was the divorce storyline, or not even storyline, did the divorce come about for the show and that they were hoping that she would get another season that would show them having to be in the same home going through a divorce? Because that maybe would be like something to see, like, whoa, like what is going on, you know? So I don't know. I think that the ladies these days think they know what the audience might be interested in and what we want to see and what drama we want to see. But I definitely don't think they always get it right. Like on Potomac, because I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far with the whole Ashley, Nneka, and Wendy trifecta. I'm not liking that at all. So I think that sometimes they overplay their hand thinking that they know, they're thinking so much about the show that life is not playing out. It's manufactured and produced. They're producing themselves and their castmates. And quite frankly, it is really wearing me thin. But we'll see. So I guess we won't know anything until Atlanta starts shooting. I don't know about a reboot. I said this on Kempire's podcast. Check out Kempire Radio. I was just a guest on his podcast. The audio version dropped, Kempire Radio, and I believe the visual will be dropping next week. But I said that Atlanta has always held a special place in my heart. Always, always, always was the top for me because, and they're the ones that got me into Housewives. You know, those women look like me, meaning skin color, Black in all shades, beauties, sizes, curves. They were funny. They're smart. They're quick, right? Just like the women in my family and the women that I had around me. So Atlanta always had a special place in my heart. And I will say, though, after going to BravoCon and watching their panel, and it felt like they were just showing up, like they were obligated to be there in the panel. It wasn't giving me, like Potomac and even Miami kind of gave me like a whoof. Like it gave you like a bolt, like a Red Bull. Like, oh, wow. Like I was already excited to be here, but now I'm like really excited. And Atlanta did not give me that. And the moderator was really good. She was funny, engaging. I like that. But it just, I don't know. It wasn't the Atlanta. And I don't want to say the Atlanta of old because shows evolve, right? They grow, but it just wasn't that girl for me anymore right there. Even during some of Atlanta's seasons where people are like, oh, like the Bolo Gate and all that, I still loved watching these Black women together and the fast and furious shade and how quick they were on their tongues and funny. But during the panel, I didn't get that. And that was the first time that I decided I was like, I'm okay with a reboot because it's just not serving to me the audience. But I still love Atlanta, don't get me wrong. And if they come back with the same people, I'm still going to be watching. So, but I just thought that was interesting. Again, I think sometimes housewives take it out of their bios to see what the reaction is going to be. They know what they're doing. They know that there are people out there literally just watching their social medias, and any little thing that happens, they're going to clip it and grab it. Hence why Nene posted and then deleted that. These wives do that because they know somebody will catch it. Oh, I tweeted it and I was upset, or I posted, but then I took it right down, or I was having a moment and I took it out of my bio. I was upset. You knew somebody would capture and it would be talked about. So I do believe that to some degree, it's a little bit of a ploy to get people talking about them. But we will see. We will see if these ladies return. So what do y'all think? Do y'all want Drew and Sanya to return? Let me know what y'all think. Hey, y'all, there's something else that I wanted to talk to y'all about. Not anything big, just really something small that I noticed in this story that I meant to add on to my video. So y'all about to see this as an addition. So I was watching Old Ladies First Panel YouTube, which is Jamie That's Me, Bondi Blue, and Niecy Dixon. I love watching all those ladies separately and when they do a panel together. And they were talking about Royce Reed's interview with Carlos King. Now, Royce Reed, for those of you that don't know, was on the first couple seasons of Basketball Wives, and she has a child by Dwight Howard, who was a professional basketball player, and she had signed, I don't even know, could it be called an NDA or is it something else where like basically she couldn't talk about Dwight at all, couldn't say that he was the father of her son. One time she was sued because somebody mentioned him being the father of her son, and she was in the room, and the paperwork was written up as such that she was able to be sued. So a lot going on there, but she is now talking. She said the NDA is null and void because some of the things that were in the NDA, he's now speaking and doing. So basically, it's no longer in effect, according to her. But this particular thing doesn't have anything to do with Royce, but the Ooh Ladies First panel had brought up that Dwight Howard is suing one of the mother of his children for primary custody. He lists reasons into why he's suing her. He got his child support payment reduced from, I believe, $10,000 down to $3,000 a month for this child. I believe that sometimes men do this. I want full custody or joint custody so that they don't have to pay. And I'm wondering if that's the true reason why he did it. But it was interesting. One of the things in his court filing, so he says that the mother of the child has failed and refused to provide access to the minor child and failed and refused to discuss in good faith the minor child's relocation, because the mother relocated to Florida with her, unenrollment in her prior school or enrollment in her new school in Florida. Further, he said he viewed TikToks posted by his daughter in which she is flipping off the camera, as well as videos of the minor child scantily clad and or in age-appropriate clothing with vulgar sexual songs playing in the background, wherein which the minor child is making sexually inappropriate gestures and innuendo. This is the part that all of it is like, of course, a child is involved. Like, why does it have to be so messy? But then he says, in addition, Howard claimed that the father of his mother, the father of his daughter exploited. Lord, let me try that one more again. In addition, Howard claimed that the mother of his child exploited their child by having her record for and participate in the reality show, The Real Housewives of Orlando, without his knowledge. I said, no, wait a minute. There is, y'all, I caught my alarm again, sorry. Like, no, wait a minute. We have Basketball Wives LA, we have Basketball Wives Orlando. The Real Housewives of Orlando. And then I wondered if they were shooting, if there was a production company possibly shooting a sizzle reel to present to Bravo, because Andy did say, he was asked a question. I believe Rachel Lindsay and Ask Andy the second day, Saturday, asked him if there were any more cities possibly coming about. And he basically explained how we'll hear these rumors about they're shooting in this city, they're testing in this city. And he said, there are production companies that may be trying to put together a sizzle reel to present to Bravo in the hopes of getting picked up. And he said none of them have come across his desk, but maybe there's a production company shooting a sizzle reel for the Real Housewives of Orlando. Or Dwight is confused. I don't know. But either way, I just wanted to throw that out there. Who knows? Could we be possibly seeing a Real Housewives of Orlando? And would y'all be interested in seeing a Real Housewives of Orlando? All right, I'm going for real this time. Until I talk to y'all later. See ya.